Can we finish Diablo 2 using only animals? There's only one way to find out. The rules for this challenge are very simple. We can't use any elemental skills, we can only deal damage if we are in Werewolf or Werebear, and we can only use the personal stash, so no shared stash. At the start of the game, I've put the difficulty in players 8 to make it a little bit faster to level and also more challenging. This is the only time in the entire challenge where I will attack in my human form. Once I reach level 2, I put 1 point in Werewolf, and from now on, no more human form allowed. On level 3, I put that point in Lycanthropy to make my werewolves last 40 seconds longer, and from this point, almost all of my skill points will go in my summoning tree. I finished the Den of Evil without much difficulty, and then I went to Guide to use my small amount of gold to gamble a Bardiche for the high damage and fast attack speed. 1 to maximum damage, better than nothing. Then I went directly to defeat Bloodraven, and at that point I already have 3 ravens and 3 wolves. My little army is already taking shape. Then I get my first mercenary. Welcome to the team, Emplisa. And then I was very lucky on my way to the card Cain because I found 3 XP shrines back to back to back, which allowed me to get XP very quickly. And even though I'm playing on players 8 for now, my little animals army feels really overpowered. But believe me, that power is not going to last very long. So I got the Scroll of Inifis and I went directly to Tristram. I defeated Griswold, all the monsters around him, and saved the card Cain. At that point, with players 8 and all the XP shrines that I got, I'm already level 14. After saving Cain, I went directly to the Countess, and guess what I found on the way there? Yes, another XP shrine. And a second one a minute later. Woohoo! And then the Countess dropped an Eth rune, which I might use later. Then I went directly to Andy, and I decided it was enough of players 8, so let's go back to players 1. And I will stay on players 1 for the remaining of this video. I was wondering if she would offer some kind of challenge for my little army, and she didn't. She went down pretty easily. But hey, it's only normal Andy after all. It's going to get a lot more difficult later on. The first thing I did after killing Andy was to get an Act 2 mercenary. Gemily, welcome to the party. The next thing I wanted to do was to get my best upgrade yet, the Stealth Rune Word. This is an absolutely amazing armor for a low-level character. What makes it excellent is mostly the 25 faster run walk, faster cast rate, and faster hit recovery. At a low level, these make a huge difference. We need to put Tal and Eth runes in an armor with 2 sockets. We already found an Eth rune from the Countess. Now let's go to the Countess again to find a Tal rune. And lucky for me, I got one on the first run. Then let's buy an armor with 2 sockets from Farah in Act 2. A scale mail with 2 sockets. That will do. Then we put Tal, Eth, and here we go. Stealth armor. I went on to defeat Radaman to get the free skill point. Then I went to get the cube, and then I had to go in the infamous Maggot Lair. Thankfully, it's not that tedious on normal difficulty. I made my way to the staff, and then I got the amulet. Then I made my way to the summoner, and lucky for me, the first path I chose was the right one. And then I expected Duriel to be somewhat of a challenge because he's very tanky, but my companions got him pretty easily over time. And not gonna lie, I hate Act 3, so I didn't mess around and I ran directly to get Kalim's eye. Then the brain, then the heart. And then I've defeated the councils in Trav. It was not very difficult, but we can already see that my companions are not as powerful as they were early on in the game. Then I went straight to Mephisto, and he was pretty easy. And I had a great map, so I decided to farm Mephisto a little bit more. Unfortunately, he dropped nothing good, but the councils dropped a nice pair of set gloves. Saigon's Gauge. That's nothing crazy by itself, but when used with other pieces, it can give very good bonuses. And then after reaching level 24, it was time for Act 4. I went straight to Iswol, and he was pretty tanky but didn't offer any challenge whatsoever. And then I killed Hephasto and destroyed the Mephisto Soulstone. I got only an Eld rune. Maybe I'm gonna have better luck next time. And until now, everything was pretty easy, so I really underestimated Diablo. Yes, while I was summoning some wolves, he killed me in a fraction of a second, which really took me by surprise. And yes, I didn't have any more potions and he was very low HP, so I decided to run around and hope my little army would get him. But I died a second time, but then I came back and I finally got him. Then I ran directly to the Frigid Highlands waypoint, and I killed Shank. Even though my companions are kind of strong, I feel very weak, so I decided to farm Eldritch and Shank for a few more levels and maybe some gear. And a few minutes later, he dropped a very nice plated belt, giving triple resist, FHR, and life. This is an absolutely crazy belt. I kept going for a few more minutes, but he dropped nothing more, and as soon as I dinged 27, I decided to continue Act 5. I ran from the Frigid Highlands, through the Arid Plateau and the Crystalline Passage, all the way to Anya in the Frozen River. I saved her from her frozen state, and then I got the juicy resist boost from Mala. And then on my very first spindle skin kill, I found something crazy. Yes, unique chain gloves, chances, and with 36 magic find. I can't equip them right now because if I lose the strength from my Saigon gloves, I will not be able to use my weapon, so I grinded spindle skin for 2 more levels. About 20 runs in, he dropped 2 unique armors at the same time. The first is Venom Ward that I probably will not use, and the other is Ice Blink that I will definitely use on my Mercenary for the freeze target stat. Then after I can wear chances, I went directly to the Ancients. I wanted to start with Maggot because he's the weakest one, but my companions decided to gang up on Korlik, so he went down first. Then Maggot, and then the tank Talix to no chance. Then I went straight to the Throne of Destruction, and this is where things started to get a little bit more difficult. The minions were kind of easy until the minions of Destruction. They killed my Mercenary very quickly and they took 3 minutes to beat, but we did it. Then it was Baal's turn to feel the wrath of my little companions, but in reality it was the opposite. Baal would destroy my Mercenary and my wolves very fast, so I had to resummon my wolves constantly, and I could not be too close to him for too long or he would kill me very quick too. I quickly realized that if I summon my bear close to Baal will generally focus on him. So I made my bear tank and my ravens and wolves did most of the damage until he was down. Unfortunately, he dropped nothing good, but it doesn't matter. We finished normal difficulty now. But since my mercenary and summons were pretty weak at the end of Act 5, I decided to farm Pindleskin a little bit before going to Nightmare. It took almost 1 hour to find my first drop, and it's a unique sight. This is Soul Harvest. It's nothing crazy in terms of damage, but it has very fast attack speed, 30% chances of open wounds, which is like a bleed effect, 10% mana steal, which is very good for me, and 20 all resist, which is exactly what I need to start Nightmare. I found nothing else, but I tried my luck at gambling some circlets from Anya, and I found one that is pretty good, giving 1 to Druid skills. And now let's give Nightmare a try. I saved the card Cain from Tristram, and again we ganged up on the poor Griswold. And then surprisingly, Akira gave me a very good ring, giving 3 to lifesteal, 28 fire resist, and 29 poison resist. Andy, I'm coming for you. Then I went to the Countess to see what she would drop, and she gave me soul and am runes. Now let's get to serious business, and let's run straight to Andy. And not gonna lie, that was a difficult fight. She was very tanky and her poison would delete all of my companions, but still, with enough time, we managed to kill her. I immediately went to change my mercenary for a Nightmare 1 to get the Might Aura, and I decided to farm Andy a little bit more. She dropped nothing for about 40 minutes, but then she dropped 2 things at the same time, a set armor and a set weapon. The set armor is Saigon's armor, which I might use later. The set weapon is Wanin's Justice, which is a very nice upgrade for my mercenary, but he was not using it for very long because 20 minutes later, Andy dropped something else, a unique Fusina. What is it? Hell Snare. Have a look at that. Slow target by 75%. And yes, it works on bosses. And it also works if it's on your mercenary. That means that from now on, every bosses will be slowed by 75%, which is absolutely overpowered. So now I'm level 45 and I decide to just keep going. I went straight to Radamant to get the free skill point, and then I ran to the Maggot Lair. And yes, as expected, the worst zone in the game was pretty tedious, especially when you're a summoner and only a few of your companions can attack simultaneously. It took me about 10 minutes to reach the end, but I finally made it and got the staff. Then I went to get the amulet to complete the staff, and after entering the Arcane Sanctuary, I was debating if I should use Kelpie Snare myself or if I should leave it on my mercenary. And a set item drop that I would generally not pay attention to. It's Alder's Rhythm. Look at the stats on this weapon. Very fast attack speed, 200% damage against demons, 50% against undead, 5 mana steal and 10 life steal. And with 3 sockets, that's crazy. And this is one hand, so I can even use a shield now. So I kept going in the Arcane Sanctuary, and only 2 minutes later, a magic amulet dropped, giving 1 to Druid skills. That's absolutely amazing. Then I killed the summoner without much issue, and I went straight to Duriel. He would normally be pretty difficult, but now with Kelpie Snare and the 75% slow, he was not very dangerous. It took some time because we were all slowed, but we defeated him without any difficulty. Then, before going in Act 3, I decided to get a nice shield. I went to Act 2 normal difficulty to buy a shield with 2 sockets from Farah. I've put a shell and a net runes in it, and here, Rhyme. So now I can't be frozen anymore. I have a bonus of 25 all resist, and on top of that, 25 magic find. I was also wondering what I should use on my 3 sockets on my weapon, and I decided to use a Perfect Zephyr for the slow, an Eth rune for the minus 25% target defense, and an Ort rune for some additional lightning damage. I'm all set now. Mephisto, I'm coming. So again, I don't want to waste any time in Act 3, so I ran all the way to the eye. Then I ran all the way to get the brain. I also found Saigon's shield, which I decided to keep just in case. And then I made a major mistake. I felt a little bit overconfident in the sewers and I died to a pack of elite monsters. And after dying, I realized that I don't have any waypoints, so I have to walk all the way back. I pretty much have to run the entirety of Act 3 now, but thankfully I managed to do it without any issues. But before going in the sewers again, I took the Trav waypoint just in case. And then once I was back in the sewers, I found the level 2 pretty quickly and I got the heart. Then I defeated the council members in Trav without any issues and I went straight to Mephisto. Again, with the help of Kelpie Snare, he was not that much of a threat, but his poison and physical hits are still pretty strong. He dropped a large charm which gives 27 attack rating and 1 to 32 light damage, so I kept it. And as some of you may know, I really love to farm, so yes, of course, I spent about an hour farming Mephisto. After about 10 runs, he finally dropped something, some set greaves. Yes, this is Saigon's boots. I was looking at the set bonuses and I decided to start using the gloves and the boots for the 30% increased attack speed and the 10% lifesteal bonuses. And then a few minutes later, Wyan Voidbringer dropped a very nice unique shield that I always love to find when I play single player. Moser's Blessed Circle, but unfortunately it's Eth, with 2 perfect diamonds that can give up to 63 all resist. I decided to keep it just in case I need it for later. And a few runs later, Mephisto dropped a nice Druid pelt, giving 2 to Druid skills. That's an amazing upgrade. Then a few minutes later, Maffer Dragon Hand dropped a very nice rare ring, giving 21 light resist and 68 to mana with 10 FCR. That's literally half of my mana, so I decided to use it. And now it's about time to start Act 4. And then after avoiding the Burning Souls for what felt like an eternity, I finally found Izzy. We killed the monsters around him, and after that he went down pretty quick. I used my 2 skills in Raven since the Grizzly Bear is maxed out now. Look at that damage. I believed before starting this challenge that my main damage dealers would be the wolves, but since the ravens gain damage from synergies on 3 different skills, they are stronger by far. Then I killed Mephisto and I destroyed Mephisto's soulstone, but unfortunately I got nothing. And then I popped the 5 seals one after the other, and I attacked Diablo with everything I had. And again, because of Kelpie Snare, he went down without much effort. Then I went to get the Frigid Highlands waypoint and absolutely destroyed Shank. Don't forget my weapon deals 200% bonus damage to demons, so Shank doesn't stand a chance. Then I ran all the way to the Crystalline Passage, but Thresh Socket had that nice little surprise for me. A unique Serpent Skin armor. Yes, Viper Magi. The 1-2 all skill, 30 FCR and 28 all resist are absolutely amazing for me. I decided to use a socket quest for this bad boy, and I was wondering what to put in it and decided to use a perfect topaz for an additional 24 magic find. Then I ran straight to Anya, saved her from her frozen state, and used the resist scroll from Mala. My resists are very high now. Then without wasting any more time, I ran straight to the Ancients without really knowing what to expect in terms of difficulty. But it was pretty simple. My companions were just tanking everything. Korlik went down, and then we focused on the tank Talik. And then, even though my dog had stone skin, he went down without any issues. Now I just realized how tanky my bear really is. He has 3,000 life points, that's crazy. And then I ran straight to the Throne of Destruction. The minion waves were all pretty easy, and because of Kelpie Snare, my own weapon that deals huge damage to demons, and my huge army, the minions of destructions were pretty easy too. And same thing for Baal. We pinned him into a corner and attacked him for about a minute. Unfortunately, he didn't drop anything good, but here it is. I finished the Nightmare difficulty. And now, the real challenge begins. I started the Hell difficulty immediately and went to the Den of Evil. Then I realized that I was no match for Hell yet. I was able to clear the Den of Evil, but I was not even able to kill 2 zombies by myself. So after the Den of Evil, I decided to farm Nightmare Mephisto a little bit to get some XP and gear. I found nothing for 40 minutes, but then I found a little upgrade, a set-plated belt. Yes, this is another piece of the Saigon set. I decided to use the belt with the gloves and boots, and a few minutes later, Mephisto dropped a nice rune for me, a Lum rune. I can now make the Smoke rune word. I wanted to buy an armor with 2 sockets from Farah, but while running to Mephisto again a few minutes later, my companions killed some monsters that were blocking the door, and a light plate dropped with 2 sockets, exactly what I need. And here it is, Neph Smoke Rune Word. The 280 defense against missiles and the 50 all resist will help me a lot through the Hell difficulty. So I decided to give Hell another shot now, but I was still extremely weak. Just in the cold plains, my mercenary died twice in a matter of minutes, and I couldn't fight too much without getting almost killed every time. The recommended level to start Hell difficulty is around 70, so level 60 with 3 Saigon pieces is not really optimal. I decided to farm Pindle Skin for about an hour. After a few minutes, he dropped a pair of unique Demon Hide gloves. It's Venom Grip. It's nothing crazy, but the Lifesteal and Crushing Blow are very useful, and the Poison Resist will help me a lot with Andy. I kept farming Pindle Skin until I hit 65, and then I decided to rush Andy and start farming her instead. I went straight to Rakanishu, and it deleted half of my HP in one shot, and from this moment I realized it was smarter to just let my animals do the hard work from now on. Then I went to the Tree of Inifis, and I had to fight 2 elite packs at the same time. Now as you can see, my damage is very low, but we still managed to finish the fight, and we kept going. And Griswold was no different, but with enough time, he was down. Time to save the old man now. And again, Akira gave me a very nice ring, giving attack rating, light damage, but most importantly 23 cold resist and 27 light resist, which I badly need right now. Then I didn't waste any time and ran straight to Andariel, and yeah, that fight was very long. I basically had to make my bear tank, summon my ravens and wolves all the time, and wait until our life goes down. And that's the beginning of 1 hour of Andy farming. Will I find anything good? Let's see. Well, about 30 minutes later, I found something extremely surprising. It's not very useful, but I really did not expect to find that. Yes, a unique Grand Charm. It's a Guide, and it rolled very acceptable with 35 magic find. Let's see if that Guide helps me get more loots. About a dozen runs later, Andy dropped a nice pair of rare boots, giving 20 cold res and 12 poison res with 25 magic find. Now I decided to stop using the Saigon set and to use the Venom Grip for the Lifesteal, Crushing Blow and Poison Resist, my old belt for the triple res, and these boots that I just found. And then 20 minutes later, I found something absolutely amazing for druids, a unique totemic mask. Yes, this is Jalal's main. Holy shit. This is literally the best in slot pelts for druids. 2 to druid skills, 2 to shapeshifting skills, 30 FHR, 20% attack rating bonus, 20 strength and 20 energy. But most importantly, 30 all resist. This is an absolutely crazy find. My resists are almost all capped now, so needless to say I don't really need to farm anymore. So let's keep going. I went in the Act 2 sewers and started hunting for Radamant. I want my free skill point. When I reached his area, the fight was pretty hard with all his minions, and I even had to go back to town twice to refill my potions. But after a few minutes of fighting, we finally broke through. And once that beautiful Kelpie Snare slow had its effect on Radamant, he was defenseless and he went down pretty easy. But now we are back into the Maggot's lair, which obviously was extremely long. That labyrinth is absolute hell for a summoner, especially in the Hell difficulty. But after running around that maze for 15 minutes, I finally reached the staff. I summoned my little animals to clear the area, and I took the staff. Then I wanted to fight to get some more XP, but after a few seconds of fighting, I got dropped pretty quick, and I paused the game at exactly 1 HP. There was no way I would unpause that game, so I left and went on my way in the Claw of Viper Temple to get the amulet. I completed the staff, ran into the palace, and made my way into the Arcane Sanctuary. After a few minutes of running and trying to avoid the monsters blocking my path, I reached the summoner and killed him. And then after running around almost the entire map of the Tall Rasha tomb, I finally find the chamber. I put the staff in the orifice, wait a few seconds, and go after Duriel. He was very tanky, but not too difficult. It took about 2 minutes, but we managed to take him down. Then as usual, I don't want to spend too much time in Act 3, so I avoided monsters as much as possible and went directly to get Kalim's eye. Then I tried to keep running while avoiding monsters as much as I could, but these little flayers are very quick and they killed me. And about 30 minutes after I got the eye, I managed to make my way to the brain too. And fortunately for me, I got very lucky in the sewers and got a short straight path to the level 2. I got Kalim's heart now. But now the hard part, Travs. I tried to fight them face to face, but all of my companions would get pretty much destroyed. My mercenary, my wolves, even my bear. All of my army would just get deleted in a few seconds. And I just spent my time summoning everything over and over and over again. And the problem with councils is that they heal themselves, so you need to kill them very quickly, which I couldn't do because all of my companions would die way too fast. Then I decided to try separating them, and it worked. I was able to get one to about 10% HP, but he teleported at the last second and got healed by his friends. so I had to start over, and now they all came together, so I had to try to separate them again. I tried to bring a few of them to the waypoint, and it took a few tries, but ultimately it worked. I was able to isolate one, I killed him, and finally got the flail. He also dropped a large storm giving 5% faster run walk, which was a nice little bonus. And the other council member also dropped a large storm, this one giving 33 to mana. Very nice little finds to help me with the endgame. Then I ran straight to the Rents of 8 level 3 and tried to kill the council members, but it was pretty much impossible, so I decided to run away to Mephisto and hope they would not follow me up there. And thankfully, they didn't. Mephisto was destroying my companions, so I had to resummon them many times, but after about 2 minutes, we got him. Then I went straight to Act 4 in search for Isuel, and even though my resists are very good, I had to do my best to avoid the burning souls because they could still kill me very quickly. After finding Izzy, I tried to bring him away from the other monsters, but it didn't work. Then after engaging with him again, I started to kill all the monsters around him while my companions would attack him, and he died before I even had the chance to attack him once. Then before going further, I wanted to do the Countess quest in Hell to try to find either a Lem rune for treachery for my mercenary or an rune to put in my Druid Pelt for some additional resist. Even though my resists are capped, if I had an rune I could use Viper Magi instead of smoke and give smoke to my mercenary instead. But the Countess dropped an Ort and a Toll rune. That's too bad. So I went back to Act 4 and ran to the Rivers of Flame. And now the difficulty really ramped up. I felt like I was playing in Players 100, but after about 30 minutes of fighting my way through, I finally made it to Mephisto, who was not difficult at all compared to all the elite packs that I had to fight a few minutes before. Remember, I need an rune for my pelt or a Lem rune for treachery, and Lum rune. Unfortunately, they won't be a next time, so I have to live with it. The other part of the River of Flame was also very difficult. My companions are getting destroyed, so I now have to summon my grizzly bear behind the enemy packs to force them to attack him and not my other companions, while we attack them from the flank, and thankfully that strategy worked. Then after making my way into the Chaos Sanctuary, I defeated the Grand Vizier of Chaos and his minions, I popped the second seal, I made my way to Lord Desace, who got himself stuck into a corner, and after about a minute, he was down. And then the Infector of Souls was unfortunately immune to physical damage, and he even had stone skin, so it was a very long and eventful fight. We attacked him, and attacked him, for a big total of 4 minutes. But he went down. Most of the damage of this fight came from the Spirit Wolves, because as contrary to popular belief, their damage is cold, not physical. Then it was Diablo's turn, and he was very tanky, but thankfully he focused my bear for pretty much the entire fight, and with the 75% slow from Kelpie Snare, he was not very dangerous. He went down after a few minutes, and he even dropped a nice weapon, the best Magic Find unique item in the game, Blade of Alibaba. Unfortunately, I'm pretty close to the end, so I won't have to use it. Then I went straight to Act 5 and ran directly to Shank. I tried to fight him myself while my pets were attacking his minions, but I quickly realized it was a terrible idea, so I stayed back and let my companions do the hard work. Then I ran all the way to the Frozen River, and while I was searching for Anya, a nice little surprise dropped from a Snowdrifter minion, an rune. Yes! So after finishing this pack, I immediately went to town, used the socket quest on my Jalal's main, and added an rune in there for 15 all resist. Now I can use my Viper Magi instead of smoke and get one skill with 30 FCR. This is a huge upgrade. I can also give my smoke armor to my mercenary, so now all his resist are capped. Then I saved Anya from her little ice prison, and I used the scroll of resistance from Mala to boost my resist to almost the maximum. Then I went to farm Pindle skin for 10 minutes and found nothing, so I decided to go straight to the Ancients instead. And when I was in the Crystalline Passage, my mercenary died, and when I resurrected him a few moments later, he became invisible. I've never seen this before. He was there fighting other enemies while being completely invisible except for his weapon. So I went back to town and tried removing his gear, but nothing would make him come back. He was still there, still fighting, just invisible for some reason. So I kept going, and a few minutes later, he died again. And when I resurrected him, he was permanently blue. He was not frozen. He was attacking normally, but he was just permanently blue. First time I saw this, so if you know what happened with this, please let me know in the comments. Then I arrived at the entrance, and upon starting, my companions decided to gang up on Korlik. So Korlik it is. It took a while, but he finally died. And then everyone is on Madoc while Talik is messing around with my poisonous vine. And that took a while, and it was pretty dangerous to stay close to them, but my pets decided to switch to Talik. And then Madoc was down. Baal, I'm coming for you. My priority was to get to the waypoint just in case I would die. At least I would have the level 2 waypoint. Then I ran all the way to the Throne of Destruction, and I didn't want to run all the way to Baal's room and risk bringing the entire floor up there, so I wanted to fight very carefully and clear everything before advancing. But I got surprised quite a few times by these little dolls. They are very fast and very sneaky. When I reached Baal's room, I expected the minion waves to be very difficult, but they were all very easy until the last one, again. The problem is that they have very high life regeneration, so you need very good consistent damage to take them down. And it's difficult to focus damage when using summons, but I realized that I can just spawn my ravens on one of them and they would focus their attacks on this one, and that's how I took them down one by one. It took 5 minutes to kill these minions of destruction, but we made it. Then there was only one thing I was hoping Baal would not do, and he did immediately that when we started fighting him. Yes, he summoned his clone, so now we have 2 Baals to deal with. But with all my resist and my mercenaries resist, their damage was very low, and they didn't even manage to kill my bear. After the clone was dead, we focused on Baal, and he didn't move for 5 entire minutes. The 75% slow made him really vulnerable. He was doing pretty much 0 damage. It was just a very long fight. And that's it. Baal is down. That's the end. Just to recap very quickly, this is the gear that I was using. Alder's weapon, Jalal's main with an rune, an amulet giving 1 to Druid skills, Rhyme Shield, Viper Magi, Venom Grip gloves, a ring giving lifesteal and resist, a belt giving triple res, a ring giving attack rating and resist, and boots giving resist and magic find. I also had the 35 magic find guide with a bunch of charms giving some very minor stats. My mercenary was using Kelpie Snare, which was by far the best item I found in this video, with smoke armor and a very bad helm. And that's my build. Nothing in Elemental, 1 point in Werewolf and Lycanthropy, with 4 points in Fury, 20 points in Ravens, Dire Wolf and Grizzly Bears, 15 in Spirit Wolf, 1 in Heart of Wolverine, and 1 in Poison Creeper. That was a very fun video to make. It was my first challenge video, but the real challenge of making this video was getting out of my comfort zone. I've made many grinding videos, and I've been thinking for a while of making a challenge video, but never actually took the time to do it. Now I did it. I tried something new, and I hope it was fun to watch. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. I have a lot more fun videos on the way. And please let me know in the comments if you've enjoyed it. And also feel free to let me know what you didn't like. And if you have any challenge ideas that I should do, feel free to share these ideas with me. I would love to know them. Massive thanks to all the channel members for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for all the support. And thanks to all of you for watching this video until the end. And as always, happy grinding.